In this video, we're going to talk about creating some simple modifiers to add to the items that we've already created. To create modifiers, we're going to go up to the top to get our menu pullout. We're going to go to Menu Setup and then Modifier List. This is going to be a list of modifier groups that will contain all of the individual modifiers. We first need to add a group, so we'll hit the green Add Modifier Group button. And then we'll create a name for this modifier group. We'll call it Sandwich Toppings. Okay. And then we will hit the Modifier button. What this does, it brings us to the modifier within the modifier group of sandwich toppings. In here is where we can add our modifiers. So if I come in here, I can add lettuce. I can add another one. We can add a series of modifiers within here. One of the options that we have is putting a price on this modifier. If we wanted to charge for these modifiers, we could put a price on there. We can sort these modifiers by hitting the Sort button up at the top. That will take us to this screen. This screen gives us the option of Display Natural, which will sort these in the order in which we type them in. Display Alphabetic, let me click on that. We'll change these to alphabetical order. Okay, if I hit Display Natural, it changes it back to the way that we entered them. You can also click on one and drag it to where you want it. So you can move these modifiers however you want them to be. Once we've got our sort set, we're going to hit Save. We'll go back to the modifier groups and we'll create another modifier group here. We'll call it Cheese. Okay, we're going to add modifiers to that. Okay, so we have some cheeses in here, and we want to charge for these cheeses. So I can come over here to the price, and I can put in how much we're charging for the cheese. And I can do this on all of them, or I can come up to Duplicate Price, click on that, and it'll take the first price and duplicate it for everything. So now we have 50 cents on all three of our cheeses. To assign these modifiers to the items, we're going to go back to the category list. And we can assign modifiers to items in two ways. The first is we can assign it to the category. If we wanted to assign it to category of sandwiches, we can come to this button here called Modifiers, hit New, and then in here we can select Sandwich Toppings. Once we assign this to the category, every single item within this category will have the modifiers of Sandwich Toppings. The options that we have over here, number free, if we're charging, this will give us the option of giving you a certain number of modifiers free. So if I put one in there, the first one will be free and everyone after that will charge. Number forced, this is to force your cashiers to order a modifier. So if you have to select one modifier, this is where you would put one in here. If you're forcing them to select, let's say, sides, and you need two sides, you could put two in there. Choice, this limits you to the number of modifiers that you can select. So if you had two sides, you could put a 2 in here, and it'll only allow 2 modifiers to be ordered. And allowance works similar to number free. It's just allowance works off of a dollar amount. So if you had modifiers for $1, $2, $3, and you wanted to give a $2 allowance, it would give you $2 worth of modifiers for free and then charge you for the ones after that. Display sequence, if we had multiple modifiers in here, we could display the sequence in which they appear on the screen. The second way that we can apply modifiers is directly to an item. By putting the modifiers on the category, it puts the modifiers on every single item. If we had specific items that had modifiers that were related just to that item, we would come into the items, and then let's say on our sub we wanted to give them the option of adding cheese to it. Let me go back there. We would hit the edit button over here to get into more details of the item. In the middle here, this section over here shows us the modifiers that are applied to the category. And on this side are the modifiers that are not applied to this category. So we had a modifier called cheese. We're going to select that. And again, we have the exact same options that we had on the category. Number of free, the number forced, the maximum number that you can allow under choice, and a dollar allowance. And we can also adjust the display sequence. This display sequence works with this display sequence. So even though this is on 1 on the category, we can still bump this up and set this one to 1. So this displays first, and then this one can display second. The display button next to each of these allows you to look at the modifiers that are in that group. We have onion, lettuce, and tomato. And if we didn't want to have an option for onion on the sub, we can uncheck it, and now only lettuce and tomato will display. Once we've made our changes, we're going to hit update, and then we're going to sync our changes. Okay, now that our changes are synced, we're going to do one more thing. If we go to the category list, we have got under the category, there's a switch here called Always Show Modifiers. And what this does, by turning this on, when you order an item, it'll automatically open up the modifier screen for you. If you don't turn this on, then you have to actually select the item once it's ordered to get to the modifiers. So we're going to sync one more time here. Okay, now that the sync is complete, let's check the Android point of sale and see how our changes worked. If we go into the order entry screen, we go into sandwiches. If we hit ham sandwich, it automatically brings up the menu modifier screen. Under we have sandwich toppings, and we've got our 3 toppings that we added in there, and they will show up over here. If we go into the meatball sub, select a size, we now see that we have cheese because we assigned this just to this item, and we have the sandwich toppings, which was assigned to the category. Under cheese, if we select one, we'll see that it's charging 50 cents for it. And the sandwich toppings are the same as before, except we're missing the onion because we unchecked that from the display. That is how we're adding our modifiers to the categories and to the actual items.